Welcome everyone to our, still need to switch to dark theme, increasingly amazing, the last, best and fastest Linux distribution you will ever need. Certainly the only one booting on 8 GB Sun for you Sunblades. Having floating point in kernel support for RISC-V RDNA2 since 2.5 years already. And otherwise just of course runs amazingly on your latest greatest x86 hardware. And Asahi Linux. Asahi Linux? Ah, darn, I looked up the pronunciation, forgot it already. Anyway, it's finally the time to release that. Some last things to sort here. That probably worked like that, right? Clang post make. Did I have here? I slightly wonder that I deleted here the clang table gen. Where is it? No. Anyway, it's finally time to build one more fix or a dozen a day. Kept T2 in amazing shape and it's finally time to release it. I also published, not only did I believe IA interim, published ISOs already some days ago for x86 as far, this is numerically so, right? Yeah, some test ISOs in October and some more today. Did I not delete that already? Anyway, some more today. IA-64, so the other were already a little bit older from October. And due to popular demand, obviously the last distribution supporting IA-64, that all ready for pre-testing to make sure we don't have here any shipping any major defects. Slightly wonder, here's the 2 gen. Here is the table gen. Here's table gen. Oh, okay, there it is. That probably we can commit that already just for that. Implement. I want to see that. Implemented clang default CC selection. Yeah, just the usual co-working theme here. I have stuff to do. We can also live stream it. Did I? I didn't. Okay, let's wipe all the builds. What could famous last words? Let's wipe all builds. Why did this? Why is this aborting early? I mean, one there is indeed strange. There was something hanging. This is still no such process. Yeah, there is indeed still this bash. I hope that's not another AMD errata. Did we not kill that? Don't tell me I need to reboot her. What if this is process? That is strange. You know what, let me quickly reboot. So, there we go. Usually I hate rebooting. Obviously we're not using some Windows or other similar broken Oracle system or slow Laris. But yeah, I hate to reboot to fix things, but I have no idea what kept hanging there. Yeah, maybe some kernel bug actually. I mean, yeah, obviously something buggy, but nothing, to be fair, nothing stresses the system. So, like building all of T2 Linux here, embarrassingly parallel on this Ryzen only EPIC and thread wrapping, but only Ryzen 7 5950X. And yeah, theoretically I should debug it, but I mean, it's extremely hard, right? Like, you have millions of processes that you build for hours or days, and then one process gets stuck. Yeah, good luck. Obviously you would, like, how would you debug that? I mean, best reproducible test case. Yeah, good luck. Reproducible test case of you build something for days and then one process got stuck. Yeah. But, and then otherwise kernel debugger, or like if it's reproducible, hopefully kernel debugger and so on. Okay, now we have wiped all builds. That's exactly what we wanted. And then, so what is the point? I had all those builds there, obviously. And the thing is, we kept fixing one thing after another, right? So nice. By the way, does my script internally nice that? Did I? Oh yeah, internally. Maybe I should actually nice it more. I don't know what today's Linux priority handling stuff, integer, niceness. Default is 10. Okay, if the default is 10, that's actually, I wanted like 20 or something, but 10 is fine, like better than 1. So then, let's go. Let's build. So how much do we build? We build, of course, everything that nobody supports anymore. So that should be 10, right? So if that should be 10, yeah, theoretically we could even build. So this are 34 build combinations, including stuff that many people love, like Itanium or DEC Alpha or Mipsel, that otherwise nobody else builds anymore. So theoretically we could easily even build 36, but yeah, shellac subscribe, we are probably obviously approaching 40. Like if some other low-hanging fruits would build more, like Chris and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, we have here, actually, wait a second. So Itanium is mostly nearly fully stable. We can actually delete that comment. And so yeah, theoretically, we easily Chris, Blackfin. Yeah, this is just other stuff without full Linux system. Do we build C-Sky? So yeah, if we spend some weekends, do we have Hexagon? Maybe not. It's like, yeah, I mean, as you see here from Long Arch we built, so that would be only Long Arch. I think like cleaning up your, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, we could easily expand it to 40 for more potentially Guinness World Record winning Linux distribution, but for today, 34 CPU architectures certainly should be enough. So I guess the defaults should probably be sane, right? 5 minutes delay. How much parallel? Let's parallel 12 or so. All right. So okay. So then let's go. That will build 48-ish hours anyway. So all like on this Ryzen 7050X, one build would take 2 hours, but we built this parallel 10 only for all this otherwise embarrassingly full loading here, and that is why we built this 10. So not to we will with 34 builds. It's already a load of 300 or so at times. So this will build nicely. Of course, we have some things to do. Some last minute fixes, like, of course, the irony, I finally want to fully build it, and then, all right, we have this VRAM by default. Yeah, very theoretically, you really need to shellac subscribe, because all those cents or $1 a day into our coffee jar keeps you all the T2 support. All right, I actually wanted to build that slightly differently. Darn. Because theoretically, I hope that kills it properly. Yeah. I wanted to use this Tmax mode, which looks better for YouTube views. Yeah, nothing like you finally built it, but we should go through the list of potential fixes and not to release it with any. All right, we need a second Tmax. So now we have here one build Tmax that will soon have many builds, and here our development Tmax. So some things to double check. Why? The kernel, so this was not an audio kernel deadlock as a live stream, let's save that already. So that is long term, that is some other generic. So yeah, that is some things I wanted to check, and which we can easily fix. Also what I will probably do, previous video, I will probably also further work on the test suite so that our increasingly popular, like our builds so amazing, they already discussed on Debian mailing list of like, hey, this T2 Linux runs better than our Debian on HPPA RISC, and such stuff. And daily mails coming in now like, hey, thanks for this, publishing this amazing stuff, it helps me this and this, and I use it with this architecture like MIPSL nobody supports anymore, and so on. So yeah, share, like, subscribe, Patreon for the stuff. Another thing is with everything worked on here daily and even P3 stuff fixed, it looks like there is a new P3 regression in the latest kernel, right? I probably, I think I don't have the time. I will probably publish it like this because the PowerPC stuff works otherwise on Apple G3, Apple G4, IBM R6K, 600 4R or so, other such stuff, Power 8, PowerPC 64LE. I will probably just publish it. I'm already overworked and kinda burned out. As much as I would love to sit here in my office and fix P3 stuff, I'm really sorry to beg for like, subscribe. We really need more funding, like the Linux Foundation. I mean, we already keep more running than Linux Foundation to fix every P3 regression in time, right? So if you want that more stuff is faster fixed, share, like, and subscribe. Some things, because some people really want to use it more and start to use it more, even other popular open source projects as containers, as virtual machines, as build environments, because obviously 25 years of fixes show in the release quality. I also wanted to check some last minute things for MIPSL and ARM. So that would be, all right, I just deleted this build, it's very clever. Yeah, nothing like deleting, but yeah, I had to delete it, it is what it is. Test QEMU, so I wanted to make sure that the ARM kernel, yeah, I don't have anything for ARM yet. So I will probably last minute change the ARM Linux kernel config to boot in QEMU with whatever. I mean, that's the thing, right? The ARM Linux kernel, and I really hate this, that for embedded boards and stuff, historically each freaking platform needed its own. All right, what happened there? Did this build already? Ah, right, I probably, did I SVM up? Because I have here one patch. Yeah, thank you very much. In an ideal world, I wish it probably failed due to that. Let's maybe, which build even was it? That's a good start, right? The thing is, I'm building for more fixes. I'm building with a GCC snapshot. This is, of course, we are a little bit late-ish, delayed it month. We delayed it with a public release. And then we still find GCC segmentation faulting, right? Recurring theme. I wish the Free Software Foundation would release early and release often, because it is now really, I think, unfortunately, we will have to release with, yeah, why can they not release early and release often? It is what it is. We cannot influence the GCC. Yeah, GCC, of course, it failed. That was x86-64. Yeah, that is a little bit, yeah, but what should I do? So let's see, MIPSL, did I had already MIPSL here? MIPSL apparently worked with Malta, which would be amazing. So mount ISO, the ISOs I hopefully did not yet delete. Media. Mipsel, media, boot. Let's see if that still works. And so the next step, maybe tonight, I mean, maybe theoretically now, but I need to become a little bit smarter of how to live stream to be more successful. Theoretically, unit test more, right? So does that do something? Oh, it does something. It comes up, so that is already printed. Yeah, so amazing. That's exactly what we wanted. Why does this not work? What happened here? Why does this not work? No image found? Why does it say no image found? Ah, maybe you know what, I didn't attach a... And that is actually funny. Just looking how much snow we are getting. Okay, so that fully boots as it is supposed to, and we are used to for this MIPS 32R2. MIPS 32R2. Coming next here on this channel, more MIPS on more real hardware. So now we need to check the same for ARM. While this stuff is nicely starting to build. Build ARM 32-bit, 64-bit works. Ah, right, this naming is different. ARM version 6. I do not have a finished ARM build. Ah, not build. What to even do here? ARM version, no, let's use version 7. And the question is, what do we have in the config? So because I deleted the builds, I need to extract the config. Media, the whole kernel. Where did I not? What have I done here? Since when? What happened here? Ah, that is empty. Oh, that's cool. But we have version 6. Although thumb is big endian, you know what? Actually, I should. Oh, that is a little bit. Nah. I still need to optimize the ISO naming because one of those is big endian. I guess version 6 is big endian. Okay, let's add this to the to-do, otherwise I will forget. Improve ISO names by removing duplicate optimization name and improve ISO name by including NDNS. Also, of course, there should be QEMU system ARM. No? Is there a QEMU ARM big endian? Has support, but it doesn't currently emulation any specific machine board big endian CPUs in them. Yeah, okay, then not. So yeah, that load is. And that is why I staged that, right? Otherwise, if I wouldn't stage that by default by this 5 minutes, then LVM Clang and stuff takes 5 minutes to build. And then you have, if I would start all build architectures immediately, all the big, embarrassingly parallel build loads would be at the same time, right? And then instead of, because all the builds have some kind of wave pattern of configure, make, install and stuff, and it's better to shift them to better load the CPU 100% of the time instead of overloading it with peak load of a load of 300. Which, by the way, I wanted to actually set RAMFS. Let's use, okay, maybe 20 gigs is enough. I'm not sure, did I finish? I actually wanted to finish. We probably should check that. Did I? Because there's so many improvements, like quality of life, bug fixes, including PS3 VRAM by default, if the latest kernel would work, but also ZRAMFS. I believe I had here. Do I have? I don't. Ah, yeah, no, I have. Why do I have? All right, maybe I sorted that there. Okay, maybe that is not so. Yeah, but it's committed now. I probably sorted there to have dev there. So yeah, that by default has 20% of memory. Oh, this is also, and that is why you don't do this manually, and instead it's not effective if it doesn't have a high priority. That should be better, just for this embarrassingly parallel builds later, to not overcommit memory deadlock my precious Linux kernel. So we double check that, and that is all the stuff that you do before release, right? Beside automation. Generic ARM kernel, we read that. How many to-do points do I have even in 177 before I recently accidentally deleted it. So ARM version 5, did I mount this already? Probably I mounted that, right? Right. So then, as that is empty, let's check 5. Let's see if we can get anything. What? Is it also empty? Amazing preparation. Darn, only, yeah, whatever the reason was that other were not created. Good that I just wiped the builds. Anyway, with anyway enough things to test, we could basically check what we generate here for ARM. Which board do we currently use by default? Some multi-arch stuff. I wonder what. Okay, I have here actually tons of architectures. Right, I added that the last time I remember. I added lots of things that I could find. Okay. Then, so that is starting to come together nicely. Okay, let's go through the to-do and see what else. So we need to, that we really need to do. The question is, all right, I wanted to add a T2 background, but that's not the most important. Probably don't do this for this release anymore. I want to freaking release. The question is, can we easily enable SetRAM in the installer. You know what? I think it's not. I need to stop wasting my time with exotic, unimportant features few people need. Maybe yeah, probably not today. Not for this. Not last minute. Yeah, it's fine. So what else do we have here? Okay, that is some. I mean, some stuff is nice to have. So like, if you want that I debug even more exotic stuff, share, like, subscribe, right? Because theoretically, Clang build kexec tools somehow don't work. Yeah, I need to. So this we should really check. Where do I have? Ah, here. This I should really check. That we not have. I fixed some recently. There was none, but we enabled some new packages. Not that we have some misinstalled lib64 libraries. What else? Clang wrapper, right? So a lot of things are long term. Yeah, that is building latest T2. Yeah, it's also not. I mean, most users are new users. Also not the most important. Linux, GCC. Ah, right. Yeah, that is also. Yeah, it's nice to have, but I believe I have done that. So that is done, and I think that is also done. And auto partitioning IBM chirp is also done. And I believe, did we? I believe I even did that. It's auto installing grub for chirp. I mean, very theoretically, do I have here more grub? Fix grub installation. Yeah. Grub auto part. So the thing is, that is a really stupid bug fix. So I converted, like, that is the thing, right? I cleaned up code. And so I made PowerPC Apple stuff use the generic grub code, and now it fails. I'm not even, maybe it worked in QEMU, I don't quite remember, but at least on some Apple machines, like I mean, maybe on all, but I've seen it on the X server. That's also the thing, right? You do it, you probably tested it, it probably worked, and that's also why I have more than one test machine here, right? So what happens there is, I think that grub on PowerPC Apple probably doesn't work with find UUID, at least in my testing, apparently. I believe because not all IEEE Open Firmware aliases work, and either something corrupt or it errors out. I mean, I can still boot after that. So somehow I believe grub stops. There's something with the UUID search. In what way it maybe, yeah, it's speculation. I need to, yeah, you can never debug enough. It's absolutely hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious that this still doesn't work. WinFarm. I actually did there something with WinFarm. Did I? Mac WinFarm. I believe, all right. Did I or not? Oh, WinFarm. Or are they built in? Too many architectures. Nausea module. I need to see it basically. The problem is if we don't have the wind farm thermal fan control stuff for Apple Power Mac, then they go to 100% on most machines or all machines. If they don't get a control signal like some read or whatever, some watchdog ping after 30 seconds or so. I believe, how did this? All right, maybe because I made it a module. Do they even, I guess they auto-load. I guess we should have them in the init.rd because the issue is, there are two things. First of all, if we don't have it in the init.rd, if you have a full disk encryption and you boot, you go and make a coffee or whatever, or you get a phone call and you don't instantly, I mean, usually from the bootloader to booting Linux, the time is already long enough, like 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there, might already be 20 seconds. And then if you don't instantly enter your full disk encryption password, your fans go already in hyperventilation mode. And the other, maybe more serious thing is, also you could argue it doesn't happen so often, but if we don't have it in the init.rd, we also don't have it in the installer. And then you install T2, and while booting the T2 installer and you don't have Apple fan control in there, then your fans also go to 100% super extreme mode, overkill mode. So I guess if that happens, and that's also the thing, right? If you only test in QA mode, it looks fine, and then you test on real hardware and your fans go in hyperventilation mode. So, and welcome everyone, how are you all doing? Question there, how did we become so good in programming? Yeah, programming a lot, 25, I mean, even more. I mean, I teach myself programming with 8 to 10 or so. So yeah, I guess it helps. Basically, I mean, you get even if musicians, right? How do you become as amazing as Tori Amos or so? It's playing piano with 4 or 6 or stuff and every day. Or Tim Henson of Polyphia, right? The American band, and their friends. It's how do you become such a guitar player? It's play with, starting with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and play every day. 25 years later. So what else do we have here? White space style, clean up, clean. So a lot of the stuff is not the most important. But let's go over here. What should we really fix last minute here? I mean, some things will not be. I mean, obviously, I will not do hundreds. I mean, I did already 1,001 more things this year. I will not do 170 more things before the release. I finally want to release here. I think we kinda are, but let's better leave this here. Let's check more init.rd stuff. You can never check stuff enough. Only stone install setup keyboard if usable for fix no store network device config with what did I even mean with that? Fix no store network device with, there's not really something to fix, or all right, maybe I thought, okay, we can leave it in there. Maybe the thinking is you boot with a minimal init.rd, you don't have network drivers, then you install, and then you don't have an Ethernet device, which theoretically it's a little bit edge case. I mean, I leave it there, maybe we fix it someday. Yeah, a lot of stuff is. Yeah, theoretically, what's up with KXX? Or did I actually fix that? Maybe I fixed that actually. This probably was 64-bit default. I mean, I can leave it in there for testing as a reminder because I don't have PowerPC machines are a little bit further than 1 meter. Will not carry a PowerPC machine out of the shelves here today. Yeah, probably that is fixed. Yeah, KX actually work with a... I probably tested, you know what, I believe I tested, did I test this on the G5? I tested it somewhere. Although I believe it didn't work, I remember it probably didn't work on the PS3 for some strange reason, but I believe it worked on something. Maybe the G5. Should be fixed, but better double check another day. Bundle some upload. All right. So I started that. It's not like I prepared for that. It's not 100% done. Yeah, that will be. I mean, via rolling release source distribution, we will just do that later. But I worked on that. You have seen me recently use some stuff. Yeah, yeah, okay. All right, so that is a crazy one. Maybe I should actually check this. This wasted already. This is a high priority, actually. Believe it or not, this wasted probably already nearly an hour this month. Let's maybe have a nicely building here. Yeah, with the stage you might think parallel 10 and 5 minutes or what I had built staging here. This is what nice loads generates after just 30 minutes, right? After just 20 minutes. And that's why we stage that, right? And then we have this building for 48 hours. But Ambutils, so that is an absolutely crazy one. And it really drove me, maybe it even wasted more than 1 hour. What happens here, I mean, yeah, maybe we also should migrate away from the stupid Ambutils here. Because they're low quality stuff. Let's maybe emerge that with no clear source or whatever that was, force depths non-Ambutils. No clear. What does it complain about? No. Or does this not have? Okay, fine. So what happens is you copy something and this copy moved the file. It basically deletes it. I have no idea what's going on there. Oh, come on. All right, this doesn't have tips. Yeah. And so this wasted a lot of time on the IBM RS6000 previous video some month ago. And recently again on maybe the Sunblade or stuff. And this wasted so much time because first of all, it took me already a lot of time to get the IBM RS6K to boot modern stuff and Grub 2 anyway. And then after hours of fiddling, when it finally worked, I moved some init stuff and that deleted it. Maybe I even moved it from a file system to tempfs or whatnot to extract or modify and stuff, and then it was gone on the bloody file system. So if you need to retrofit some files that you deleted on a fragile work in progress boot stuff, it's easily 30 minutes or 45 or 30, like half an hour or an hour recovery and stuff. And then it even happened again, like just the other day, like yesterday or the day before yesterday on the Sunblade 1000 with similar boot 8 GB not working, fiddling, and it's like, yeah, I have no idea what's going on there. That is absolutely crazy. Also, I thought I tried to test that and I couldn't instantly reproduce it. So let's see, do they have... okay, they have here, what do you mean they don't have... They don't have a copy? Wait, don't tell me they don't have... What is here with... Or do they have one copy and move? No, they have here move and copy. Prox, what is going on with copy? What the heck? Copy link, symlink. And I wonder that copy freaking deletes the bloody file. Are you effing kidding me? You can't got to... You got to be freaking kidding me. Don't tell me this doesn't have a... Why do they... Copy move, inside copy move? Yeah, German, world-renowned German security researcher tries to write C code. What could possibly go wrong? Arc0 has to be copy or move. So maybe... Wow. So maybe if you... What's going on here? So, okay, it has some mode copy. Wow, is that stupid? I guess it doesn't detect sometimes its copy mode. Maybe if you... So if you run it as with an absolute path, I guess... Where do they have name? Where do they use name? How can we test that? And that also explains why it happened to me a couple of times, but why does it? I mean, I usually don't run this with a full path. I mean, I just in the init run copy. Do they use name to print that out anywhere? Do they? I don't even instantly see it used. Oh, there's name. Is it even the same name? Yeah, how to write. It's like people ranting on their 100,000 follower blog on security stuff and then writing C code like it's 1970. It's ridiculous. I don't even see name here used much. Okay, here they use it. Do move. When moving several files, last name must be directory. How not to, by the way, this is cancer, right? If you new to this stuff, don't like stop here today. Don't write C code like it's 1970 today anymore, please. So we could maybe, I'm not sure if this is crashing because these are supposed to be constrings, right? I guess string talk. So the way to fix this, we could use string talk, and like if we can string tokenize that, otherwise, what string search things are there in C? We could also, we could somehow otherwise like stringling that. I mean, we could boot an installer, and best is always to reproduce this, right? It's really ridiculous that I need to waste my time with such stupid stuff. I mean, I'm guilty myself that I use such low quality software. Probably shall I subscribe Patreon and stuff that we obviously write the microkernel user space and so on with the Sana language and C. So let's test that here. Okay, the usage apparently, so this works correctly then, but at least that should be the right thing, right? But I wonder then if you run user bin cp. Okay, this works. Maybe the shell. I mean, very theoretically, they wouldn't. I mean, if they already, you know what? This is Felix from Leitner. Super tiniest. I mean, he wouldn't need to copy that, right? If you already string compare that. Okay. But because I wanted to say you don't need to set this name. I mean, the only thing is it's only saving graces. It's including the colon and space separator. But otherwise, you could just use argv, right, for your name. I mean, maybe this works, but maybe it still fails. Let's see if we move here something like touch test me. Okay, we don't have touch. Okay, echo test me, and then copy test me to test 2. Now this is copied. Why the heck? Is this miscompiled or what? So I had an init RD. Like, how did it happen then? That it's multiple times that it moved a file for me. It's bizarre. Maybe across file systems? Copy. Test me here. No, it's still there. Nah, I wish I would remember how this precisely happened. I mean, I for sure didn't. Oh, you know what? I know how this happened. It's not Amputer's fault. And so most likely, wow. Okay, I have an idea how this could have happened. And it's probably not Amputer's fault if it's like that. So that could be because we extract, so maybe that is working. And then we extract the installer. And maybe that second stage is extracting the files. So what did we extract? We extracted the small image here. No, what this is also not. This is a full CP. No, it's overwritten. Ah, no, it is not. Look at that. Ah, this is, okay, this is move, huh? No, that's usage CP. Wait, which CP is it in? That is probably how this happened. But which? This is, or is that now C? Or then it depends on the random. I mean, that's certainly not amazing. What to even do here? Also here, 2023, a bloody move is 100 kilobyte. Ah, you know what? Maybe the help text is also misleading. Maybe the bloody GNU thing, that probably should be the GNU thing. Maybe it's using its argv to print the usage. Is it even copy or source test? So these are two different binaries though. So now we should have test here. No touch. Copy test me to test 2. Look at this. This didn't copy. So okay, so at least we know. So how do we fix this? This is a shit bug. Well, that sucks. That sucks. And that's also the thing, right? I looked already. I looked already quickly into that some week ago, and like only for like 5 minutes in emp utils, and like, and that's the thing, right? I tested that in user bin, in user emp utils, where we install the embedded utils. I tested that quickly and it worked there. So I now took a closer look the second time already, and even then it took me some creative thinking here, some out of the box thinking to even realize in what combinations that occurs. Do we have a full find here? Do we have a find? No. Let's give this more memory. Can we boot, please? It's still not the full second stage for some reason. Maybe this is not, no, it's, because this is somehow using 240-ish. Oops, what did I do now? Okay, somehow I have the impression this doesn't work with all the memory. Question there, do we self-host anything kinda, right? Not sure what precisely you mean with that. So I guess this doesn't. Well, it probably has a maximum memory of 20. That's unfortunate. Anyway, how do we fix that? Because I wanted to quickly search for all the Zoom links here, but I mean, we probably could ls that. Grab. What invalid? Okay, copy move. Just double checking how many more such cases we might have. I'm somewhat inclined to fix this by patching mbutils to create maybe a hard link, but that doesn't... I mean, hard link, if we install it, it will anyway not preserve as a hard link unless... Do we internally create hard links? Because the space saving of a few bytes is simply not worth a headache, because otherwise we would... I mean, does have tar a dereference mode of don't dump symlinks, dumps a file they point to. What does that mean? Don't dump. I hate such slang of dump. Like, what do you mean with dump? Yeah, I don't want to have... I mean, obviously, I don't want to create custom hackery of deleting something in extracting the second stage, install a second stage. This makes no sense. So they also have here change own, change group. What do they have? MK FIFO. I mean, with that, it could theoretically also... Why do they have a dash? So this is also silly. So this they have prefixed with the dash and that not. Consistency. I think I remove that for all. Oops. Not to have something similar again in the future. So that installs, so I mean it doesn't help the most. I mean we could simply copy it, but wait, install also does the same? Wait, why has... this is not included in the targets? So the targets do not include... Wait, this is strange. I thought they are security experts. So they have it in... So they have it in procs and in targets. And yet they manually overwrite it here in install? Like, why would you... Or do we patch something? Not died, package, post, diff, read link. Okay, read link I patch in because it didn't have read link. How do we install even? Maybe we don't even use that. It is possible because it does have a bin prefix. We install wrapper filter the bin to bin dir. Okay. Okay, as we filter that and use it, we could patch it. So, but it's... I mean, yeah, first they symlinked it here and... And then they link explicitly. Ah, wait, this is a normal link. This is not a symlink. So first they install all the targets. What a mess. I wonder, I'm surprised that, I mean, of course our stuff should work reliable, like our install wrapper, but I'm surprised that wraps correctly in the sandbox. Anyway, how do we fix this? I think if we have a hard link, install will of course not check that. So we could simply delete that, and then install will just copy a normal binary. I mean, that is a little bit funny that, should that not create a hard link? I'm not even sure which, this is also silly. I'm not even sure what install will install copy replicate a symlink, if that is a symlink. Anyway, I guess that is probably user imputals. Wait, this is not a symlink. So yeah, as expected, why does it not work then? Or did we already? Or did I hotfix there anything already? Okay, let's try to rebuild it. Now I'm puzzled that, but it clearly was a symlink in the installer or not. What stupid bugs. Yeah, and such small things waste. I mean, not only did it already waste an hour for multiple times deleting an init or the other files when I was early, like exotic machine boot testing and stuff. So this clearly is a symlink. So this actually installs the hard link. This is also, so it temporarily, maybe our own optimization is doing that. Ah, darn it. I think I have the same file symlink path somewhere. I mean, if okay, so maybe, so it looks like we don't even need to patch imputils, or as silly as it is, so for building it and creates a symlink and then installing it, installs a hard link. Amazing consistency. What could possibly go wrong? Either do we have what a tricky mess. Maybe we should simply not try to save some kilobyte and not have a similar, same file Zoomlink path, causing more problems than it's saved for a 46. And welcome everyone. Can I recommend an efficient book to learn C++? Not really efficient book to... I obviously don't source all the books. I learned that 20 years ago from Björn Strustrup. Yeah, if you watch this later, if anyone else has a recommendation, maybe check in some days and see if other people recommend something. But yeah, my problem is that super modern C++ I anyway don't appreciate the most, so not sure if... I mean, I liked, even 20 years ago, I liked to learn from like authoritative first-hand sources like Björn Strustrup's C++ book. That is basically... Otherwise, yeah, leave in the comments below. Oops, what have I... Here, create... Ah, here, link identical files. Here we have that. I think we remove that. I mean, I can just delete it. Would it have any... to hard link those? Does tar have hard link detection? I mean, we could... Where do we have link? Because I mean, we could implement options here, like Zoomlink, hardlink and stuff. Nothing like filling the to-do, unnecessary stuff. Where was this now? Yeah, we better optimize space somewhere else. So this correctly detects that is identical, but yeah. Okay, fine. We finally figured out this mysterium. And then I guess it's enough for this live stream. What else did I... That's probably enough for this build, right? Leave them in the comments, probably leave them in the comments below what else you would want to be done. Yeah, leave in the comments below what one more last thing you would like to see implemented. Did I do that already? Maybe 64, did this work? Maybe if this still breaks, I will see. Maybe if we move this up, maybe it works already. I had one thing where I thought, all right, maybe the arm, was it arm? Fix cross-build lip tools not to, this one is actually probably nice. Yeah, basically, if you want to see one last thing, leave in the comments below. See, a lot of stuff is also optional stuff, nice stuff, and so on, right? Yeah, allows some like new features. Maybe I touch the grub config generation one last time. It's like yeah, even still one last thing. Just sorting the most important stuff out here is already quite some stuff. You know what? Very theoretically also, but that is also not for. Where is grub theme? I had prepared something already. So probably for the next release, some pretty grub theme, because why not end default ISO Apple compatible icon, AFI icon stuff. You know what, maybe I even do it for this release. This just looks nicer for the old Intel mix. Fanta asked, what is this block review? If you mean this block review, this is just Tmux and my scripted to automatically fill that, so that this will be, did I add this in space? Yeah, it's space. This isn't, This is Tmux, just maximizing the visualization of my build progress. Comments there, they wouldn't lie, don't understand almost all of the things we're doing. That is even, I'm happy to hear that probably you learned something. I hope you learned something and enjoy this. But that is only high level, right? We're not even talking assembly, right? Probably don't get us started with object dumping, disassembly of text sections, of debugging of, it's like, yeah. Share, like, subscribe if you want to see work on new operating systems, new compilers, assembly and other compiler and microkernel stuff. Because today we're only high-level scripting operating system compilation and not assembly and disassembly. Made in CPP, happy to hear that. So we at least fixed some other bugs, right? Sorted, maybe we take one, also need to run for a late lunch. Reoccurringly late lunch. And probably one last check here on our social media stuff. Anything else going on under Discord? Memes, storage, RISC-V. You name it. Amazing. So one last, so I will probably check and remove try git deps. I think we did many. So yeah, this I will probably not. Well, this is just superfluous. Probably not gonna do that. Going to do that. But one thing we probably should do soon is NTPD by default, and so yeah, something of maybe not for this release, but soon. Let's make this 2 entry points. That point is also like, yeah, one more thing every day via later release and just sorting some stuff. Still probably 10 more things. I mean, this is mostly all nice to have stuff. This point is mostly when you don't have an RTC either on a PS3 that doesn't have supported RTC, or an embedded board without RTC, which probably even this RISC-V board doesn't have an RTC, does it? Probably. It's even latest and greatest RISC-V stuff. You got dot files. What do you mean with dot files? To-do files? So yeah, I guess this doesn't have a RTC, right? So many of these embedded boards, including the unmatched Hi5 Sci5 RISC-V board, unless you plug in a battery, which wasn't supported initially, we need somewhere where I would want a default time. The thing is, a default time meaning a time that's not that much in the past, because currently if you boot, and some other distributions do that, like maybe some Raspbians, the question is where to put it. So the thing is, like if you boot not to have 1970, like 1st of January 1970 breaking everything, so the idea is to have a minimal time at the time of build, like for this build it would be today, it would be now. And so instead of having 1st of January 1970, to have at least, like whatever today is, 29th, 2023, which would be a relatively reasonable date, right? Because 1970 breaks everything. Of course, it's not perfect. Of course, you should still need to run NTP on this RTC-less embedded boards. But like to have something that it's mostly working and it's not that far off, it's only weeks, months, or at worst years off instead of decades. The question is where to put that in. Does the Linux? Yeah. So I won't. If maybe I go for lunch and wait for your comments. Like if you have done something like that, does the Linux kernel have Linux kernel embedded default date? Does the Linux kernel? Is there an option? I never really had to look into that. Oh, yes, date time of embedded kernel bootstrap without RTC. So this is something of that sort. If you have systemd, it will set its date to its build time. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm not the greatest fan of that. So not only do we not use systemd by default, because I hate everything in the kitchen thing, humongous Uber projects. So that is what I want, basically, without systemd. Systemd clock use second. So I don't like the solution very much, because that means you boot the Linux kernel and you have 1970, and then when your init starts, you have 2023 or so. I'm kinda tempted to patch the Linux kernel to default to a non-zero time. Because that way, I mean, there are pros and cons of everything. So with the Linux kernel defaulting to a 0 time, at least you can, in user space you could determine that you don't have a time set. But you still, so there are pros and cons, right? Pro, You boot with a save time. You don't need to have user space detection fiddling. It works whether you use systemd or sys5 init. Cons, you can't determine that the time wasn't set, but do you really need that? So that is, I mean, it's also zero overhead, right? Basically, Pro at zero overhead, it's just there. You don't need user space stuff to determine. I think the pros outweigh the cons of, like, do you really need to detect in user space that the time wasn't set by an RTC? And if your RTC is out of date and not set, like you have an old vintage Sun and someone restore, like, or even, I mean, maybe I wonder, I guess systemd could not determine, like if you have many actually old x86 motherboards, main logic boards, do that, right? A lot, I guess many, if not all. I wonder if this always has been a thing. I wonder if systemd, I mean, I guess, I mean, okay, there's one thing. So, because systemd could then not determine, you have even Intel Core whatever, right? Intel Core 2 from a decade ago, battery's dead, it probably defaults to 2006 or so. So systemd, for example, in that scenario, could not really determine, did your embedded board come up with 2006 because it's a T2 build from 2006? Or is it just an empty RTC battery on an x86 or ARM or MIPS board? The only thing is, it could check the time. Is the RTC time lower, older than its built-in time? If it really, like there is this chance of, I'm built in 2023, the Core 2 Duo has a time of 2006, so that's obviously not right. But it could still, it could still determine such cases, if you really wanted to, for that kind of things. So yeah, I guess. And the thing is, if we boot installer media, we don't have systemd, right? I mean, unless you create an installer media for systemd. So I mean, not only we're not defaulting to systemd, we don't even have sys5 init in the installer. So even if we would have a systemd or sys5 init specific solution, so in my opinion, and that's also the thing, right? IT projects, software products, you need to define your feature set, right? What do you want? What are the pros and cons? What are different solutions? I think the easiest and most pro least cons solution is probably patching the Linux kernel to default to non-zero date. I think. I'm surprised the Linux kernel doesn't. I mean, do they have an option for that? Script not used yet. Let's check that. And I guess it doesn't have that, but let's see. Let Linus Torvalds hobby project surprise me. Tiny little bit load. Just 154. It's so much load, even the Linux kernel extracts slower than. Oops. No, I clicked this somewhere. Oops, accidentally pinned it. Do we have here? These are just RTCs. I mean, many RTCs. Okay, so many RTCs. Doesn't even make sense to. Generic CMOS update. Has anyone else done something like that already? Yeah, people discussing it a decade ago with NTP. Yeah, thank you very much. The thing is, if we do this in user space, if we, as I mentioned a minute ago, if we do this in user space, we would need to replicate this for the installer and the system installation. I mean, unless we could do it in an init.rd, but if we do it in the init.rd, which is shared among the regular installation and the installer, then we would need something like hardware clock date stuff in there, which here's from where comes the default time. What is it? What is it? Debian? Debian Pi? ARM Debian? Whatever the name is. It saves on the image. Image creation time. When you run the Raspberry Pi, time passes. Shutdown time is saved. The shutdown. Okay, so the Raspberry Pi also doesn't have an RTC, right? It's really ridiculous that Raspberry Pi RTC battery. Okay, it has support for RTC battery. Okay. I mean, you could still have additional user space stuff, right? We could default. So yeah, if you wanted in your specific T2 application, maybe we should actually also add this to the to-do. System and save time on shutdown and reset on boot for RTC-less systems. It's also not amazing. I mean, obviously this is still hours ago, but it's still like if you boot daily, it's just at least 1 day off instead of, I mean, until you, usually you're internet connected, but it's of course not super amazing, but still better than a decade off. So we would need to figure out where the Linux kernel stores the date and time. I never had a need to look into that. Let's just take the next best, which is a small one. Let's maybe RTC P3 is small. Read RTC, result, bug on, get time. It's probably done in some probe, ops, set driver data, definitely RTC register. Probably in some generic, what is that doing? Generic RTC probe. Using generic RTC abstraction. Where does the Linux kernel? So idea would be to patch the Linux kernel default from 0 to current RTC device register, platform set driver data. Somehow this is so generic. This is an RTC driver using generic RTK, but it's, so this is a generic driver doing nothing. Amazing. Not really sure why it exists, but somehow it does. Here, something like that is our Octane. Oh, Silicon Graphics. I told you so. Read time. Where is it freaking set? So set time, so that is of course. So read time, where is driver probe? Where would that be? RTC class. What does that do? Release important RTC HT system. What? RTC only stores whole seconds. It is arbitrary whether it stores the most close value or partial seconds truncated. Here, set time of day. Do a set time of day. Okay, let's patch where that stores kernel time. That probably makes some sense. The thing is, the next decision is, should we precisely store when it was built? That would be different for each build, or maybe this would not lead to reproducible builds. So if you want reproducible binaries, we shouldn't have an arbitrary random date in there. So what we could do, we could create the date from the T2 build, so that if we build 2312, you get the 1st of December 2023, for example. But first we still need to, where is the time of day? Is that here? Time zone. The time zone where the local system is located. Where is the set time of day? Security. Minutes west, plus minus 15 hour. Thank you very much. Do set time of day. Get you the secure. Do set time of day. Where freaking is that? Here, timekeeping. Another file. To set time of day. Sets time of day. Timekeeper, yada yada, valid. Forward now. Blah blah blah. Timekeeper. So much code for not much. How can it be so difficult to find where they freaking store that? Log, struct timekeeper. Here's the struct timekeeper, the most important data for reading. Readout file, single 64 cache line. Shadow timekeeper. What the heck? Why do they need a shadow timekeeper? Mirroring of the data to the shadow timekeeper needs to happen last. here to ensure that we don't override the timekeeper structure on the next update while with stale data. Crazy. Okay, somewhere here it should be. The question is where? Maybe that is why nobody patches the kernel and everyone does it in user space. Anyway, that's probably it for this video, mostly anyway. Still need to finish finding that precise location. Otherwise, the build is going vroom. The build is building. Yeah, lunch getting cold, you were saying. Apparently even two, like what do they, I probably should figure out what do they do with the shadow time, shadow wars, where do they? Maybe I give this another 5 minutes and then we call it a day. Probably, yeah, of course, 1.5 hours. Yeah, even timekeeping you can make overly complex. Kernel timekeeping code and SSR functions based on code from timer-c moved in commit. Timekeeping. So struct timekeeper. Where do they have the struct timekeeper? Linux time age. Oh. What you ever wanted to learn about Linux timekeeping, you should not be including this file unless you struct timekeeper. Read timekeeper monotonic raw kind timespec 64 based interfaces will vol to monotonic is what we need to add x time corrected subjiffies. So this is a rather complex affair of just patching in some default time. The problem even is, I mean, if we do this in user space, we would even complexly check if the current time is less than the build time. Another 100k something, and all you want is just a set of 64-bit value in your kernel, and then you have another 128k just for user space time setting. It's absolutely crazy how long you can poke around here and still not find where... Maybe I should even check, is this in this data structure even? Do they have here hours, minutes, times, mono, x time, time spec? Looks a little bit more complex than I wanted to simply patch the time in there. Crazy complexity for timekeeping. The thing is, if we do this in user space, there's so much to ideally simply patch the kernel default time and relatively multiple files of complex shadow timekeeping stuff. Of you had me at complex timekeeping stuff. The question is then, can we... would even need to script somehow. Maybe we move it into the init RD after all. Not really where I wanted it. But leave me in the comments below. I need to rush finally for late lunch before the last sun is already away for this winter day. I hope you enjoyed and learned something. The last, best and fastest Linux distribution release you ever wanted is coming along nicely. Leave me in the comments below what last minute fix you would like to see, if you have any tips and tricks for this default time setting nonsense. And otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this and learned something. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe. Maybe Patreon or YouTube membership. Xanta writes, date was programmed into the system sometimes in the early 70s, according to Dennis Ritchie, one of the engineers who work at Unix. Yep. We probably make another test live stream. Probably we should have, even with this embarrassingly poorly built stuff, we should probably have, okay, it's excessively loaded. So even with the stage build, you see we have here multiple embarrassingly poorly builds going on. Multiple times, even with this staging, right? Maybe 5 minutes is not even enough. Maybe this should be more like 9 minutes. Because we have currently multiple LVM building, right? And so not only is it what building with, what did I choose, 12 or so? Yeah, 12 threads. But then multiplied by easily 10 other freaking builds. It's like, yeah, with this performance. So because we build so much in parallel, it means the build time estimate is already 18 minutes, right? Which usually builds in 4 to 8 minutes, 18. Probably our load is a little bit of 181. It's nothing. Like really currently, why do we find all bugs? Why do we find all bugs? AMD and Intel, CPU errata, previous video, illegal speculation we uncovered in AMD Zen 4. But otherwise, T2 remains the one and only true and best system stability test ever invented. And I hope to see you soon for all the next continuation of such fun to come.